In our hyper-connected world, the idea of living off the grid has a certain romantic appeal. It conjures up images of self-sufficiency, freedom, and a life unburdened by the constant hum of digital noise. But beyond the aesthetic, there's a growing concern that drives some people toward this extreme: surveillance. The feeling that our every move, every click, and every interaction is being tracked, analysed, and stored has become a central anxiety of the 21st century. So, should we all abandon social media and embrace a life off the grid to escape the watchful eyes of corporations and governments? The digital footprint. We leave. Every time you log onto social media, you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. That trail, your digital footprint, is more than just your posts and photos. It includes your location data, the articles you read, the ads you click, and even the people you connect with. This information is a goldmine for tech companies, which use it to build detailed profiles of you for targeted advertising. It's also of interest to governments and law enforcement agencies, who can access this data through legal means or, in some cases, without your explicit knowledge. The feeling of being watched can be unsettling. It's a subtle but persistent erosion of privacy, and it can lead to a kind of self-censorship where we might hesitate to express a certain opinion or like a particular post for fear of it being used against us in the future. Social media platforms are designed to be addictive, but they're also designed to gather data. The more you use them, the more information they collect. Is off the grid the answer? For those who feel this digital surveillance is too much, the natural inclination might be to pull the plug entirely. Deleting social media accounts is a start, but the idea of living off the grid is a more radical step. This usually means eschewing not just social media, but all forms of digital communication, from smartphones to email. While this approach offers a complete escape from online tracking, it comes with significant trade-offs. In our society, being completely off the grid can make it difficult to find a job, stay in touch with family, or even access essential services. Many aspects of modern life, from banking to healthcare, are now deeply integrated with the internet. Living without a digital presence can feel less like a peaceful retreat and more like an active struggle against the current. The reality is that true off-the-grid living is incredibly difficult to achieve and maintain. Even if you don't use a smartphone, cameras are everywhere, on street corners, in stores, and on your neighbors' front porches. Our physical lives are increasingly monitored as well. A more balanced approach. So, if completely unplugging isn't a realistic option for most people, what can be done? The key is to find a middle ground between total surrender to surveillance and complete isolation. This means being mindful and deliberate about your online presence. Here are a few ways to regain some control. Audit your social media. Go through your privacy settings with a fine-tooth comb. Limit who can see your posts, and turn off location tracking for apps that don't need it. Delete old posts or photos that you no longer feel comfortable with. Use privacy-focused tools. Consider using a VPN, virtual private network, to mask your IP address and an ad blocker to prevent tracking. You can also opt for privacy-focused browsers or search engines that don't save your search history. Think before you share. Before you post something, ask yourself if it's necessary and if you're comfortable with that information being public for an indefinite amount of time. Be a mindful consumer. The free services we use online often come at the cost of our data. Acknowledging this can help you make more conscious decisions about what apps and platforms you use. The conversation about surveillance isn't just about fear, it's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that our data has value and that we have a right to protect our privacy. Staying off social media and living off the grid are valid choices, but they aren't the only ones. The real power lies in understanding the systems we interact with and making informed decisions that align with our comfort levels. Ultimately, we have to decide where we draw the line. Is the convenience and connection of social media Worth the trade-off in privacy? The answer is personal, but for many, a life of mindful engagement, rather than total disengagement, is the most sustainable path forward. Now let me move on to another subject matter since we are talking about the digital footprint and things. It feels like every week there's a viral clip of police officers dancing on TikTok, doing lip-sync challenges, or posting relatable skits online. Somewhere along the line, too many cops decided their main duty wasn't public safety. It was building a brand. But let's be real. Police officers don't need ring lights. They need accountability. They need to actually do their jobs. Policing is not entertainment. The job of law enforcement is supposed to be about serving and protecting communities. Instead, some officers are more worried about followers than safety. Social media has turned policing into performance. Dancing in uniform, recording behind-the-scenes videos in squad cars, or posting funny reels doesn't change the fact that people are still being mistreated, over-policed, and ignored when real help is needed. Communities don't need cops going viral. They need cops showing up. Let's not act like this wave of cop content is innocent. Distraction from accountability will not confuse some of us from the real tea. It's a PR strategy. Departments use light-hearted clips to humanize police, distract from brutality headlines, and soften their image. But no amount of TikTok dances erases systemic issues. No viral skit balances out racial profiling or abuse of power. It's propaganda disguised as relatability. And it works. Because people would rather double-tap a dance challenge than confront injustice. Your job is public safety, not publicity. When officers are filming TikToks on duty, what emergencies are they ignoring? Whose calls go unanswered while the squad is perfecting choreography? It's insulting that taxpayer dollars are funding wannabe influencers instead of actual policing. Imagine being told resources are stretched thin, then scrolling online and seeing the same officers dancing for clout. That's not public service. It's a slap in the face. The bigger problem: image over impact. This obsession with content is just another symptom of how broken the system is. Instead of fixing the culture of policing, bias, corruption, overuse of force, departments try to rebrand. They want to look good instead of be good. It's about optics, not outcomes. But communities don't live off optics. We live off impact. And right now, the impact is more violence, more mistrust, and more wasted time. Do the work, not the dance. Nobody asked cops to be influencers. Nobody needs them to trend. What people need are officers who treat communities with respect, who de-escalate instead of escalate, who prioritize protection over performance. Police don't need hashtags. They need humility. They don't need followers. They need accountability. Now, another topic that needs to be addressed within this matter. Social media sells itself as connection. What it really breeds is exposure. Oversharing is no longer just a bad habit. It's a cultural epidemic. The subtle trap of relatability. It usually starts small. Someone posts a funny story about their messy breakup, a vent about their boss, or a video of their child's tantrum. At first, it feels harmless, maybe even healing. You get comments, "Same," or "OMG, I needed this today." The relatability pulls you in, makes you feel seen. But slowly, the line between sharing and performing disappears. That breakup post becomes a series. Your child's tantrums turn into a whole TikTok channel, and before you know it, your private life has become a public storyline that strangers now feel entitled to watch, critique, and dissect. Receipts are forever. Here's the catch. The internet never forgets. What you shared in a vulnerable moment doesn't vanish when you move on. Screenshots live forever. Employers Google you. Creditors stalk your digital trail. A joke, an emotional rant, a careless reveal, it can all come back when you least expect it. We're so busy chasing clicks that we don't notice we're leaving breadcrumbs for people who don't always have good intentions. Privacy isn't just about today, it's about protecting your tomorrow. The illusion of connection. Oversharing feels like intimacy, but it's often a counterfeit version of it. You tell the internet your struggles, and the dopamine hit from strangers' validation tricks your brain into thinking you're deeply connected. But here's the truth. Those strangers don't know you. They know the curated, performative version of you. And the cost of that illusion? Real relationships suffer. When everything is spilled online, there's nothing left to hold sacred offline. Friends, partners, and family members may feel violated when private matters turn into content. That betrayal creates distance, not closeness. When oversharing becomes exploitation. One of the most troubling aspects of oversharing is how it pulls others into the spotlight without their consent. Parents turn children into mini-influencers. People expose their partner's flaws in breakup videos. Family drama gets posted like it's entertainment. But here's the truth. Other people's lives aren't yours to monetize. Oversharing doesn't just put you at risk, it violates the privacy of everyone around you. Boundaries are a flex. Protecting your privacy doesn't make you mysterious, it makes you powerful. In a world addicted to exposure, discretion is rebellion. Setting boundaries about what you share online doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're choosing peace over performance. Think about it. Some of the most respected people we admire maintain mystique. They don't feed the algorithm every detail. They share intentionally, not impulsively. That's real control. The call to reclaim privacy. So here's the challenge. Before you hit post, ask yourself, does this add value? Or am I giving away a piece of myself I can't get back? Not everything needs to be public. Not every moment needs an audience. Reclaiming privacy is about reclaiming freedom. When you stop oversharing, you stop performing. You take back the power to decide who knows what about you. And in a time where privacy is treated like